Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and I'm here today with a brand new friend of mine. His name is DG, is it Hollins?
Yes.
And
correct, Mundo.
He happens to be a fellow podcaster, and not only that, but he is also a fellow Christian, Christ follower, which is totally awesome. He lives here in the Northern Kentucky area with me, and I just now found out about him, so that's totally awesome. We're going to be having lunch here at Cheddar's on Houston Road in Florence, Kentucky, and I'm so excited. DG, welcome to the podcast Answer Man.
Thanks so much, man. Glad to be here. It's an honor to be in your presence.
Oh, whatever.
Consider me your young Padawan.
So, just before we get started here, I want to say that this episode of the podcast Answer Man is sponsored by our good friend Evan Agee at agdesign.com. That's A-G-E-E design.com. Go to /podcast. Tell him you heard about him from the podcast Answer Man. He'll give you 20% off of anything he does for you. Awesome website design. Awesome graphics for your podcast. Evan Agee, A-G-E-E design.com /podcast.
Gee, I wonder what you could be able to pull off with that kind of a guy. Gee, I don't know.
AG, yeah. Anyway, so got to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, no, I'm right there with you. I'm looking into that kind of stuff. So.
Well, not only that, but Evan is a guy just like us. He's a guy he started his own business doing graphic art design. He's wonderful. Lives up in Indiana. When I went to work out our agreement for our sponsorship, I drove up to Indiana and hung out at his house and chatted with him for a couple hours. Just a really nice guy and does wonderful work.
That's very cool. Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who did the Praxis Podcast logo, and then actually the Guys Podcast logo, we were trying to find a friend of ours to do the logo, but we needed a filler logo, so I just went to Flickr, found the Creative Commons stuff, and started messing around with ones that allowed me to be able to mess around with them.
Yeah.
And so I just created that logo myself on Photoshop, just playing around. It's funny because one of the guys in the Guys Podcast was like, it's gay, man. This is gay. I don't want to do this. And I was like, what's wrong with being gay? We want to have gay listeners. That's awesome. Come on. And he was like, it's the Guys Podcast. I was like, all the more reason why we might have gay listeners. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. 3 hummingbirds on barbed wire fence. But
I haven't seen it. I didn't look at the album artwork when because I just went over to your website and just clicked play.
And it doesn't have the logo anywhere on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a lot more. That's a lot more in need of a website stuff. So maybe I will contact agee.com/podcast.
Yes, ageedesign.com.
Oh, that's right.
/podcast. 20% off podcast Answer Man. Yeah.
I'm all for helping out the people who help us. That's cool.
No doubt, man. Seriously, it's awesome to be able to leave my career in insurance behind. And
it's blowing me away when you tell me that. So that's really, really cool.
I'm a big fan.
Maybe it would give hope to anyone who's into new media kinds of stuff like this. I mean,
absolutely. And I do a show called My Crazy Life, which is like my daily audio journal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and so basically it's kind of just imagine, I don't know if you write in a journal. Of course, we don't call them diaries at all.
Yeah, I call mine a blog.
Okay, well, imagine there's blog, and I haven't read your blog, but you know how... for me, there was, because I've been blogging forever.
Yeah.
But for me, I have a prayer journal, and in the prayer journal, you get the deep stuff. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's just say you find this, Cliff's never running for president. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing is I've already lost one of those journals out in the wild. I have no doubt that will be published one day.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that somebody will publish that. I'm so thankful that my relationship with my wife is as strong as it is. I love you, Stephanie.
I've never met you, but I'm looking forward to some days.
So, but anyway, my Crazy Life is the audio version of it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's
up?
How
are you?
Oh, good. You ready?
Yes.
Would you like to take our order?
I would.
I am going to have the chicken fingers basket. And instead of getting ketchup or coleslaw, I'd like to forego all that and just get some barbecue sauce.
Comes with fries. Comes with a better fries. And you just want some barbecue sauce?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we get the mushroom burger? And instead of fries, can we get broccoli or something like that?
Okay, burgers are a la carte. They don't get a side.
Oh, okay. Then I'd like a side of broccoli, please.
Side of broccoli. Okay. Sounds good, gentlemen. Good to go.
Hey, thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
So, anyway, that's what My Crazy Life is. And so ever since, I think I'm on like episode 211, 213 of My Crazy Life.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. So, but anyway, if you go back to like episode 150, from that point forward, you get to ride the entire journey of Cliff's leaving his career and pursuing his passion for a living.
That's cool.
All the high anxiety moments. I mean, I think there were times that I actually broke down in tears as I was recording with just stress and anxiety about it all.
Oh, I cannot imagine.
Yeah, it's been a
nice side podcast for this one.
Yes.
It's like, if you really want to know what it's about, then let me give you the whole big picture. Here's my life, and here's how to do a podcast.
Well, that's exactly it. Of course, I do 17 podcasts personally, and so but they're
but
two
you need
shows.
to get your temperature checked because you are insane.
I am insane. But the My Crazy Life and the Podcast Answer Man are like sister podcasts.
Yeah.
It's like you got the technical end, and then you have the human element behind it. You know,
that's cool. That's very cool. Definitely get you a huge chunk of life going on with that.
There's no
and
doubt
it lets
about that.
everyone know, hey, this is what you're getting into.
No doubt.
Do this.
Yeah. I've had so many people say, "Man, I envy you so much." I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I can see. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Your ignorance is blissful, is it not?
I just did an episode called "I'll Never Go Back."
Oh yeah.
I'll never go back. But the thing is this is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and I've never worked so hard before in my life. But I've never enjoyed life so much.
Wow. Have you ever thought about going with video?
What's that? I have some video stuff, but video is just crazy. Now, and that's good conversation here. I don't think video is going to, and I think for video you have to go pro. I mean, you have to go super ultra beautiful, do it perfect,
HD,
excellence.
Final cut and just go hardcore.
I mean, or clean and dirty. You know, clean, simple, just get it out of the way. That's where I am. It's like I have a little point and shoot camera that does video stuff, and I just hold it up and say, "Hey, here I am today," blah blah blah, and I put it up and just immediately string it together and no big editing.
Like the flip phone kind of stuff for the.
That's exactly it. It's like just short 2, 3, 4 minute video blog updates. That's the extent that I want to go to video. For the most part, I'll do a special episode of something every now and then. But I think to do video, you really have to go full-blown and make it available on Apple TV and make it something people will want to go and watch on, you know, because here's the thing with video. It's not as consumable as audio.
Right.
And the other thing is audio, it's easy to make audio professional.
Right.
I mean, I've done some webinars with people where I can show them how to take their some so-so audio recordings with a good microphone and some techniques on audio editing. You can actually put out full-blown, better than the radio station downtown quality programming. And it's not that it's super ultra easy, but it's something you can do, and it's obtainable.
Right. Yeah. And but I sense that with the iPhone coming out and the iPhone and the iPod Touch, it's just video is more and more what it's going to. It looks like to me. It seems like that to me.
Well, here's the thing. Audio podcasts you can listen to 97. Oh gosh, what is it now? 97.5 million people, I think is what the statistic is, drive to work alone every day.
Right.
The average commute time between 30 and 40 minutes. Okay, that's 97.5 million people who could listen to audio podcasts to and from work.
Right.
No chance you're going to be doing that watching video.
And I hear that all the time from Leo Laporte, but I hope no cops are listening to this. I set my iPhone up and I watch my video podcast while I'm driving. And my wife kills me for that and says she's going to take it away, blah, blah, blah. And I'm probably going to get into a wreck. Or kill small children. Just only 12 or 13 kids. Maybe just one busload. That's all, though.
As long as, you stop after one. That would be
But
cool.
I never ever went into video podcasts. Ever did I go there because I don't own an Apple TV. I don't have my Xbox 360 hooked up to my computer or whatever else. But as soon as I got my iPhone, I immediately went to start doing video stuff. And I go to my video stuff first, and then I go to my audio podcast.
Really?
When I listen to them.
Yeah.
But it's also because, and nowadays, even when I'm listening to my video, I really do just listen to my video, even though it's on there, like the Totally Rad Show or Dignation or something like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I finish Dignation and Totally Rad Show, I go straight to Twit, and I go straight to,
Well,
all these Mag Break Weeklies and stuff like that, too.
Right. Here's the other thing is on the audio.
But I realize I am not the average person.
Right.
I'm a freaky person.
Here's the deal. I have, like, for example, video. It's even though it's content you could just listen to,
Sure.
you're drawn to watch the video just because the video's there.
Exactly. It's human nature, I think, because that's the culture we live in is video.
Yes. Well, and here's the other thing. So there's all these people who are listening to audio while they commute to work, while they're working out in the yard, cutting the grass, doing,
That's true.
going for a walk, all these other things. So you got audio there. But then, get this, I have a ton of listeners who work at a computer desk or a computer terminal all day long. Data entry, graphic art design, or whatever. And they're just literally just all day long listening to podcasts.
Right, yeah,
And but they can't do video because video distracts them from the work.
Exactly.
So I think audio's like I'm a strong believer in what Leo's talking about. Audio's here to stay.
Yeah,
but by
right.
golly, supplement with video.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Sure. And that's what you've done, of course, with like the Lost Podcast and being able to have it recorded live with video. If you want to watch the video on the blog, you can do that. Okay, two questions I have for you.
Yeah.
Well, two main questions. I mean, I've got 5 billion for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's why people listen to your podcast. The future of podcasting, do you honestly think that, and this is just my sense, you can correct me if I'm wrong or whatever else, but I'm starting to slowly get a sense that there are starting to have independent networks forming, like Revision 3 for video stuff, independent networks forming for podcasts. And the future of podcasting is jump on this network. This network will be able to supply your needs for tech, geeky stuff, entertainment kinds of stuff, news kinds of stuff. I mean, and so you have this network now. It's the new ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, blah, 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 blah. Except they're podcasting networks, and they're looking to fill these specific slots that are meeting these needs as this network. And I didn't know if you think that is a future kind of thing going on there, and people might want to start considering developing kinds of networking kinds of relationships to be able to say, hey, we're going to fill this need in this network. So, for example, just because of what's being formed currently, here's your network that's starting to form. You need a news, you need a tech news because it's just geeky people are the forerunners of this stuff. You need an entertainment aspect, like the Totally Rad Show, kind of feel the need for that type of stuff. And then, then you can do religious stuff on the side, or you can do, you can branch out gardening, whatever else it is, books or whatever else. But I really kind of get a sense that could be a very important aspect of the future of podcasting is these formation of these networks. Now, it's not going to be like these huge conglomerate kinds of things. It's all underground. It's all, kind of word of mouth advertising and stuff like that. But I really get a sense of that could be very, very effective in the podcasting world. And I would love to know what you think about something like that.
Well, obviously that is a direction a lot of people have been drawn to.
I mean, you call yourself a network of podcasts.
Exactly. And I probably filled about 8 or 9 requests per month of people who want to join my network.
Exactly.
And it's like, I'd love to join your network. Right now, my network, generally speaking, is, we call it the new media playground of Cliff and Stephanie Ravenscraft.
Right,
so it's like Leo. Leo has some part to play in nearly every Twit podcast.
Right.
So that's very much what we are. I'm very much in control of everything on my network.
Exactly.
And I'm a total control freak, and so I don't know. We've only just recently brought in co-hosts and have been successful at it. So, but still, Stephanie's the host, and her friend Sarah is the co-host of the Full-Time Mom.
Right.
I'm the host, and my friend Chris Brighting, who used to be an Apple genius, is now the co-host of Help I Got a Mac
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
so, but still, I'm very much a part of everything. I'm toying with an idea of what I guess you would call like a back channel. You know, like the community. You know, the GSPN community network.
Yeah.
So those are things that I'm looking down the road. But yeah, I think networks are definitely going to be places that a lot of podcasters should look into, because what'll happen is if it's like, why do you go to, you know, for a TV show? It's time for a new TV show, right?
Right.
Okay. It's fall time.
Right.
All the new shows are going to be released. You hear about 5 different new shows that you definitely want to check out.
Exactly.
Two of them are on ABC, 2 of them are on NBC, and 1 of them's on Fox. Tell me right now, which one are you not going to check out?
Probably the Fox.
Why not?
Because
they're going to cancel it. It doesn't matter how awesome the show is; they are going to cancel it.
It's almost a given, yes.
So here's, I think
Stupid Fox.
I think the same thing will start to happen in the realm of podcasting. People will all of a sudden, they'll find a show that they like. Not that they'll find a network.
Right.
They'll find a show. They'll hear about a show. They'll find a show that they like. And if they find out that show's a part of a network, then chances are that network may have similar quality programming standards.
Exactly.
And so that's why I very highly protect my standards of what I do at GSPN.TV.
And I think you should, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, for example, I had never heard of the Totally Rad Show because they hadn't started it yet. I listened to Dig Nation first of all, then I started watching Dig Nation. Then Dig Nation creates this thing called Revision 3, which is a whole bunch of other different video podcasts.
Yep.
Started watching Totally Rad Show because of that connection I have with Dig Nation. I've tested out a few other ones that were a part of it, like there was a cooking one they did, like Control Alt Chicken and some stuff like that.
Some really that was the early days of it.
Exactly. Like, so I'm checking all this stuff out because I know it's a part of a network. I know the quality I can expect with Dig Nation.
Would you have, if you would have heard about Control Alt Chicken anywhere else? You were a Dig Nation listener,
right?
But you didn't know that Control Alt Chicken was a part of Revision 3, and you didn't know that Alex Albrecht was in it. If you would have heard the whole idea or the concept of Control Alt Chicken, would you have ever checked it out?
Yeah, probably not.
Diet, please.
Probably not. I probably would not have done that. I mean,
so there is
although
power.
I love cooking and I love being a geek, and so that's because
Maybe.
I love Alton Brown, but it's because he's a geeky science kind of guy.
But you have to admit, without the hype of Dig Nation, let's just assume that you didn't watch Dig Nation,
right?
Which I have to admit, 2 guys on the couch talking about tech stories. As a geek, I enjoy
drinking a beer. Yeah,
you know, I totally get that. I enjoy that show. But let's just say I didn't know that, and all I knew of Alex Albrecht was Control Alt Chicken.
Right.
I'm going to tell you,
it would not have done anything for me.
Exactly. It's like I would have saw it. It's like, nah.
Right. Exactly.
You know, because it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't as good. It wasn't high entertainment value.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
But we hung in there with Control Alt Chicken because it was part of the network, because we had been introduced. That's like when I can launch a. Well, I'll give you an example. I have a show called Family from the Heart that we do.
Okay.
My wife and I are reading. Yeah, my wife and I are reading a book about enriching family life. Okay. And then what we do is we'll read a chapter, and then we will immediately after reading it, we'll discuss what we read.
That's cool.
It's totally awesome stuff,
sure.
And people are enjoying it. Now the thing is I had the idea for this show for a very long time, but I went ahead and said, okay, here's the introduction episode here, and here's episode number 1. And here's episode number 2, but we're not doing any more with this until we either have the funding or the time or whatever to do this.
Sure.
This show, people had listened to it, but this show had 0 listeners after episode 2 because we went probably as much as 8 or 9 months without recording a show.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get a listener from one of our from our podcast network, our community, and he happens to be in charge of the IT behind this new website for the company he works for, which is an online Christian bookstore.
Okay.
He says, we want to sponsor one of your shows. And I says, well, let me talk to you about this show. How many listeners does it have? Right now, 0.
Right.
I said, but here's how much I want. And I gave him and I'll just say a couple $100 per episode.
Right.
I won't divulge anything other than that. But they pay a couple $100 an episode, signed up for at least 6 months.
Okay.
All right? So very cool, and it's a weekly show. I had 0 listeners. But how did I get them to sign a contract for 6 months?
With 0 listeners.
With 0 listeners. A couple $100 per episode. How did I get that to happen? GSPN.TV network. What happens is we're reaching thousands of, we're actually at the tens of thousands of listeners overall.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Hundreds upon hundreds of people are subscribed to the all-inclusive feed, which means I drop an episode. I could start a podcast today called WhyILikeSalt.com. Okay, and I could release the very first episode.
And it might last for 2 or 3 years, then you die.
Well, and of course, this is brought to you by Morton. You know.
Or whoever the company is that made this shaker. Yeah.
Exactly. So WhyILoveSalt.com. And I know for a fact that the very first episode is going to be listened to by at least 300 or 400 people.
Right, exactly, because it's part of the network.
It's part of the network.
They're going to test it out. They'll taste it. If it's too salty for them, then they'll put it away.
Or if it's salty enough, it may make them thirst for more.
Oh, there you go. Jeez.
So yes, there is huge power in a network.
Exactly.
But I will tell you what, I'm not going to speak badly about any network.
No.
Okay, there are some networks out there that have done some things that I don't agree with, and I won't mention names. One of those.
Oh, come on, mention it.
No, I won't.
I'm totally joking. You know.
I know, but I was approached by a network and in negotiations with Hadengo. I will mention their name. Yeah. Out of all the networks that are out there, they're the ones that I was this close, and I'm like just centimeters away from signing a contract with them.
Oh, okay.
I finally decided at the very last minute it was not in our best interest to sign that contract because of the model that we're going for.
Right.
It didn't make sense to move my network onto their network.
Sure.
And it's like, dude, I am my network.
Exactly.
And the last minute thing was, have you ever considered dropping down to just maybe 1 or 2 shows and trying to get your audience up to the 150, 200,000 listeners? It's like, no, that's not my model.
Right.
And what that communicated to me was, well, that's where they're going to be. That's their sweet spot of how they're going to go and get corporate sponsors.
Exactly.
It's like they're not going to be, because of the model. And I won't divulge the percentages, but the percentages were pretty good in my favor. Let's just say that of what I would get of any of the sponsorship money, and they were not. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for them to get such a small percentage of, let's say, $350 per episode.
Exactly.
That's nothing for them in their corporate model. So it didn't make sense for them to go out and get a sponsor for my episode or my new podcast that I want to launch that will only have 300 or 400 listeners.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I just really kind of see that network having a ton of potential into it, especially if it's a network that, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but like a lot of networks right now, they have very similar podcasts.
Yeah.
That are, if they're going to be talking about home theater stuff, and it's going to be home theater stuff, and then just speakers and TVs or whatever else, and they're not necessarily branching out to, hey, let's grab one that's just pure local news, or regional news, and then world news. So you have a BBC, you have a local news, then you have some tech stuff, then you have some food, then and I'm wondering if that is kind of a potential that they could be able to reach a bunch of listeners with way different podcasts, topics or something else like that. But I don't know.
Here's the thing. I see some real power if it could be worked out where somebody can take their show and have some kind of non-exclusive method of being promoted on that network and being available content on that network, but without duplicating.
Burgers and fries?
Thank you very much.
A burger with broccoli.
Thank you very much.
Folks, enjoy.
Thanks.
You want a break?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. You're going to do it.
No, you go. You do it.
All right. Scott, we thank you so much for allowing us to be able to come together and enjoy this time together. And we just ask you to bless everyone around us. May they come to know who you are, grow in a relationship with you, and they're blessing us, and so we just ask that we can somehow be able to be a blessing to them. And we just thank you so much for this food. May it bless our bodies so we can nourish it, and we can be able to serve you. And allow your kingdom to come here in Florence, Northern Kentucky, just as it is in heaven.
And around the world on podcast land.
There you go, everywhere else. Bless everyone who's listening to this. They'll be kick-ass.
Yes.
Amen.
Rock on. So, but yeah, what I was saying though is that if we could find a way, because RSS is what drives everything, right?
Right. Yep.
And nobody wants to lose control of their audience and their content to somebody else.
Exactly, yeah.
So the one problem I was going to have with any network, Podango, no longer Pod Show, but now Mevio, Revision 3,
Right.
any of those places, the problem is that if people find you on those networks and they subscribe to there, if you ever decide you want to leave that network and go somewhere else or do your own thing,
Right.
the issue I have is that those people who are subscribed via RSS to your content, they may not be subscribed to your RSS.
No, that's very true. That's very true.
What are you drinking, sir? Water?
That's a very interesting point. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, and I mean, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you would never, ever hear of, I wish it would be true that, let's just say, maybe Firefly, because it's one of the greatest shows ever made, was decided that they were going to jump ship from Fox and go to NBC. That would never happen in the world.
It can't happen.
It can't.
Because of contracts. And
contracts, copyrights, I mean, you name it, it's all there.
And that's what...
And I can definitely see that.
That's what anybody who is a podcaster, whether you're doing it as a hobby, whatever, you may think that this is just no big deal. It's a hobby of yours. Just understand this. This is your content. It all belongs to you. And you have to be careful with whatever network you decide to join up with. Even if they tell you everything's all green and sunny and it's all your content, blah, blah, blah.
Of course they're going to say those things.
You get the contract. And if they say, go to the website and say, no, this is in plain English. I don't accept this. I want the actual, literal, legal contract, and I want to read it.
Right, and you get your friend the lawyer to read it through with you.
And if it doesn't scare the crap out of you, it should.
Exactly.
And then what you do is you say, okay, let's amend this contract, and you negotiate it.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's so very important to be able to think about those things. But we're also in a business, a fun business, that is so user-driven and so user-oriented that,
Well, it's not that it's not so much that I'm in that case that I would be afraid that all of a sudden people stop getting my show. I think I have enough content, and I think you should be producing enough content to where all of a sudden if somebody's like they're used to getting a show every other week from you for 4 months, and then all of a sudden they've gone 4 weeks without anything. My hope is that you at least have good enough content that somebody would go to your website and find out what's going on.
Right, exactly.
And then all of a sudden they see your note that says, hey, if you haven't been getting our stuff, here's why, blah, blah, blah.
3 of us were sick. Yeah, exactly. We didn't think you wanted to hear vomiting over the microphone, so we're not going to do.
Or we've decided to leave this network. You're probably subscribed to the old one. Please subscribe to this.
Exactly.
However, with that contract, you got to be careful with that contract because you may have given up something there that you didn't intend to.
Exactly. And it's that's true of life. I mean, any contract you sign, let's be wise about it and actually read it instead of just saying, "Oh, sure, I'll sign whatever." You might be promising your first child away to the mortgage of your house, or something like that.
Well, the thing is so many of these Web 2.0 companies, they know people are just so used to saying terms of service. I agree. Click.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, this is your content.
Yeah.
It might be a hobby today. It may be your career 2 years down the road, and you won't know that until 2 years down the road.
You just got to be careful about it. Be wise about it and be careful about it. I mean, just use some freaking common sense.
Yeah.
All right, so that leads me to another question. TheGuysPodcast.com. I'll put my little plug in there. We had on, I think it was like episode 7 or 8, we were doing, we're doing reviews of movies and video games, blah, 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 blah. geek and tech news and things like that. We got one episode that has like 2,000 people that download it. And we have no idea what the heaven we're doing. We're just doing something because we love it.
Right.
We're having fun with it. We just thought other people might enjoy listening to us talk the whole time. So we had that one that had like 2,000, but ever since that one episode, it's just been radically going down and down and down and down and down and down and down. What could be like reasons or causes or purposes of that? And we only had 1 week that it was not down. It was not, like we only skipped 1 week. It was during the Christmas time period. And we told everybody on the blog and everything else like that too. I'm pretty sure we did. But what could be some of the reasons why that happened? Now, we also had one of our guys, Courtney, that's part of the podcast. He actually went on the Slice of Sci-Fi and left a voicemail message and actually mentioned the podcast.
That's it, right there.
And we think that that's probably where we got a huge hit, but no one, they might have just listened to it for 4 seconds and then put it away or whatever else because we weren't exactly like the Slice of Sci-Fi or something else like that. I don't know what their expectations would be, but anyway, I'm just interested in finding out what that is.
Well,
and it wasn't like a hard hit right at the very beginning. It was a gradual decline over the course of like 10 or 15 weeks, 10 or 15 different podcasts of what happened. What could be some of those causes, and how could we look into possibly getting those back, or has it ever happened to you? Blah blah blah.
Okay. First of all, how can something like that happen? You go, all of a sudden you get this big, huge hit. And then, the big, huge hit, yours is easy. You called in to Slice of Sci-Fi, gave yourself a plug, people came and checked you out. A lot of them stayed for one episode, some stayed for one episode, some stayed for 2, some stayed for 5, some stayed for 7, but eventually a lot of them have dropped off. That is exactly what has happened in your case. Another thing that could happen, let's just say you go along and you're running, let's say, 700 downloads per episode. Then all of a sudden you get 4,000 downloads on this one episode, and then you're down to your 700 or 800 again. That right there is somebody took your MP3 file and said, this is awesome stuff, you have to check it out, and they actually put it in their RSS feed and linked to it. And their subscriber base, boom, just went and hit and downloaded your episode.
Oh, okay, all right. That would make a lot of sense.
Yes.
Especially if, like, say, for example, Slice of Sci-Fi on their video mail, on their voicemail show, had in their show notes a link to that one podcast where we actually discussed blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So what it was, we discussed what we thought the true ending of Legend should have been.
Okay.
Of I Am Legend.
Right.
And it was a great podcast. I mean, that was a really, really good podcast that we did. But anyway.
So, but anyway, that's one thing. Let's just say if you did an episode devoted to the TV show Lost, you can get that one episode included into Lost Podcast Network. That one episode will absolutely be guaranteed at least 2,000 downloads.
Right.
Additional on top of your current subscription base.
Right.
So that's one way. The other way is the way you talk about. Now, as far as the decreasing content, how do you get them to stay? I believe there are so many options when it comes to podcasts these days that really the days of just sitting behind a microphone and just chatting are coming to an end for popularity of podcasts. Unless you can really hook them in on your content, I really believe you really have to start improving audio quality. Content, everybody used to say, content is king, content is king. I will say right next to content is audio quality. People do not want to sit there and listen to poor audio quality. Not for long periods of time. They'll put up with it for a while, but they really want good quality audio sound. They don't want to hear one guy riding the microphone, clipping because he's talking too loud, and then the other guy who you can just barely hear over here and blah blah blah. They're just not gonna. They might put up with it 1 episode, 2 episodes, but when it comes down to it, it's like, oh, I got these 15 other shows. I'm getting behind on the podcast. This is the podcast I'm going to drop because you know what? It's kind of a pain to listen to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, completely.
So, what you can do...
And you're not talking about, like, special effects and really good intro music and like, doing this whole like a typical intro that you'd see.
Yeah, don't make it a radio show.
Right, exactly.
No, it's. I listened to one episode of The Guy Show, and I sent you a direct message on it, saying that your intro music sounds really cool. Comes through, and I was listening to it in my studio speakers, so you got the bass woofer and everything. It's like, wow, this is really awesome. And then all of a sudden, it seems like it's just typical standard audio quality, which is not bad in and of itself. But what happened was the audio level of the music that's input as the intro had like a negative 1.5 decibel range. And the audio level of all the people, of you and your co-hosts, were at like a negative, probably right around a negative 8 or negative 9 decibel audio level. Okay. And so what happened was, it's like all of a sudden, here I am listening to you guys. So I've had to turn my volume up to listen to you. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you go to play a bumper to bring you into the next segment, and it's boom, 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 and I just woke up everybody in the house. Or I just blew out the little speakers in my earbuds.
Or your eardrums.
Or my eardrums.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Huh?
So people will put up with that maybe one episode, maybe two, but eventually that fluctuation in sound, because here's the thing, if your audio is too low, you can't hear it in a car.
Right. Exactly.
Listening to your podcast in the car is going to be darn near impossible. So eventually, it's like, this isn't worth it to me anymore.
Right.
This is too much work for me to listen to this. So just the simple technique of doing hard limiting and normalization on your podcast will drastically change the longevity of subscriptions.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely. And of course, I personally use GarageBand. I'm not sure exactly what.
That's problem number one.
Well, it could be. Definitely.
I'm just kidding.
Well, it says it normalizes it when you export it, but you don't really know what's going on.
Right.
It really is, audio for dummies. But when I had no idea what
it's Fisher Price for podcasting.
Exactly. But when you got to start somewhere, and it's nice to start off with Fisher Price before you.
Right.
I want to learn how to drive how to get on a Tonka truck before I really want to get into a vehicle and start driving around or something like that.
Right.
And so it allows me to be able to get, this is the kind of language I need to be looking for. It's just like when you're trying to learn Photoshop. Mm-hmm. You have to learn what all these terms mean and what they do and things like that. Then you can be able to talk about those things. And so when you sent me back that direct message, I was like, I'm clueless. I don't know. And besides Brad in Florida is the one who does our audio stuff. So I just sent it to Brad. And Brad was like, well, what's he talking about?
Right.
And that's why I sent a message back to you saying, could you clarify a little bit about what you're talking about? Because Brad doesn't understand what you're saying and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And so what you're saying basically is it really is the technical aspect of the recording. And when I do GarageBand, I do put me down more than the music because what I'm hearing when I'm in GarageBand is going to be completely different. Thank you, man. It's going to be completely different than what real life in the car with my iPhone connected to it just through the headphone jack, not even through the iPhone, not through the iPod jack, and it's just completely different, examples of how real people are going to be really listening to it.
Right.
And that's the importance of putting it in the car, listening to it in the car, and saying, you know what, I really do need to kick that up more, or I need to change that up, or whatever else. But
you don't have to go and do any of that. You hard limit. What you do is you amplify the entire signal of the podcast to negative 1.5 decibels. Bring everything to that level, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Let me explain to you what hard limiting is. So you've seen the waveform where your wavelengths go up and down, and if it goes up too high, it's peaking, and, and you lose the audio. You never want to peak because you can never take that away. What'll happen though is you can do something called hard limiting, and so you got this really loud music at the front that's almost near the top, but then the voices of you guys are down somewhere in the middle of the wavelength. Okay.
Right.
What you want to do. And I do this with using Adobe Audition 2.0, but other programs should have hard limiting available as well. But I go into hard limiting, and I say I want to do a 12 decibel dB gain, 12 dB gain, which means it's going to at the same time, I do that. So that's basically what that'll do. If you just do an amplification, what that's going to do is it's going to bring you guys, your voice up closer to the top, but it will actually take that music and it's going to blow it way over the top and it's going to peak and sound horrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that this part is just amplification. So
Right.
in my hard limiting, I do an amplification of like 12 or 15 decibels. However, I set a hard limit for amplification. So
Okay, that's cool.
So basically it says, okay, I want you to increase everything in here by, let's say, 12 decibels. However, don't let any stop.
But here's the ceiling. Here's the
stop
ceiling.
all amplification
Right.
at negative 1.5 decibels.
Okay.
And so what happens was, okay, so let's just say that intro music only got amplified by half a decibel. But your guys' voice, your voice got amplified, everywhere you talk got amplified by 8 decibels.
7, right.
The guys in on Skype are a little bit lower, they got amplified as much as 12 decibels.
Right.
Never more than 12, but they
Right.
up to 12. And so you hard limit, and then what happens, instead of having this big, huge, gigantic roller coaster looking wavelength, when you're done with that process, it's all pretty much at the top and cut off and level.
That's
and
cool.
then no matter where you listen to it, that audio is strong and sound, and you're going to be able to hear it, and it stays.
No need to raise the volume up and down.
There,
I mean,
it's
just-
riding the volume.
Right.
Riding the volume will lose you subscribers.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
That's great to know. I really appreciate that. Because, we really are just three guys that are just trying
Oh,
to
no.
do it. And we're
Right.
clueless about what's going on and things like that. So, well, that's cool. Okay, that makes a lot of
Second,
sense.
gentlemen.
Thanks, man. That makes actually a lot of sense of doing that stuff. And of course, everyone's big question is, how do I get listeners? I mean, marketing is like 90% of what's going on out there.
Right.
And I told Courtney is like hardcore about this. Like, we've lost these listeners. I mean, he just starts flipping out.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, we suck. We're all gonna just go down to this drain and it's gonna be useless. And I told him, I was like, Court, honestly, for me, I would do this just because it's fun. Mm-hmm. And Brad's the same way. Brad's like, you know what? I've had so much fun with this. Even if we have 30 people for the rest of our lives, I'm cool with that. Or whatever else it is. But there is a part of you that's like, you know what? I really do think that this is funny enough, this is enjoyable enough to where I think other people could actually enjoy this. Mm-hmm. And of course, not even to mention the Praxis podcast, what I'm doing, I mean, it really is for practitioners by practitioners. And that's a whole niche market. I mean, that's just,
Niche marketing, you can certainly get by with a little bit more. People will give you more leeway with niche podcasting in quality.
Right.
But
But the guys' podcast is it's across
general.
the board. It's so general.
There, I mean, no offense, there are thousands of podcasts like the guys' podcast.
Exactly.
Here's the situation though. You make yours the best sounding in the general genre, dude. You will be. People will talk about you.
Exactly.
People will talk. I mean, people. I have people who hate. I mean, they despise me and my wife. I'm talking. They hate us. Okay. They listen.
So what's your
to-
address again? What's the?
They listen to every single episode of the Weekly Lost podcast, and we put out 2 a week.
Right.
Okay. And the reason I know this is because about 9 months ago, one guy wrote in and says, you guys are pathetic, blah, 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 you should do this. And I wrote him back, I said, you should stop listening to us. And, and if you continue to use this kind of language, I'll contact the authorities. I mean, it was that bad. And he says, well, I'm never going to listen to you again. And then just probably about a month and a half ago, all of a sudden, we said something in our show that offended him, and he wrote me and told me about it. I'm like, dude, you were supposed to stop listening to me how many months ago?
Exactly.
So the reason why people listen to our show, even if they hate the content,
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's something about audio quality. I mean, you listen to the Weekly Lost podcast, and it sounds like you were listening to a morning show on any FM station.
Exactly.
And people are... the thing is, how many Lost podcasts are out there? Well, you may not know this, but there are probably...
It's gonna be billions.
At 60 or 70 to choose from.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, we're in the top 4
Right.
consistently.
Right. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. And I think that part of that is because you're pumping out 2 a week. So I mean, you're getting volume plus quality.
No, that's a deterrent. I will tell you, that's
really?
deterrent. Yeah.
Well, how long are they? I'm sorry, I haven't listened to it.
40 minutes, anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
Each.
Because the only podcast that I listen to that's like that is the HT guys. And they're like a home theater kind of a podcast. And they pop out 2 a week too, but they're only 15 minutes long each.
When you devote to listen to us, we're taking up a good portion of your life.
Just like the show Lost. So not only are you taking up that much life, but they're taking up more life because they're watching the Lost episodes as well.
And the thing is there are some other really good Lost podcasts out there.
Right.
And they want to be able to listen to those too.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's really a deterrent for us to put out so much
and
content.
that was one of our worries too, is that we were so general that we just need to cut out, video games, or we need to cut out, movies altogether, or cut out the tech news.
Survey
like
your
that.
audience. Ask them.
Well,
what do you guys like?
And that's another frustrating thing is we'll say, send us an email or call our nothing. I mean, and we put it up. I mean, we've done everything. I don't know if we've ever done one on the blog, but that's very frustrating too. But, I mean, I've done contests. We've done all kinds. I've literally just actually sent a Think Geek coupon for $25, or not coupon, but a gift certificate, $25 to one of the guys who won our contest. But and so we've done all these kinds of gimmicky kinds of marketing things. But in reality, we just really enjoy the people that are actually really listening to us, and we're hoping that we'd say, hey, if you guys don't like this, please let us know. I mean, the only way we can ever know to change this stuff is to let us know.
Well, here's the thing. I was a speaker at PodCamp NYC, and the topic that I spoke on was called communicating with your audience, how to build a community around your podcast.
Right.
I would suggest that you go listen to that, because I'll be honest with you, I give you some answers on how to build that community.
Sure.
And I mean, it's amazing, but you literally have to be darn near insane to be able to pull it off.
Right.
Because
Top copy, you get the bottom. Thanks very much.
But I won't go into details. I suggest you go back and listen to it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But if you only knew how much I communicate with my audience,
right?
I mean, I'm insane. I take time. I call people on the phone, individuals on the phone, just chat with them from time to time.
Right.
I answer every single email. I never skip an email. I hang out after shows. We record shows live on the internet.
Right.
We do post shows as much as an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, just hanging out, talking to people.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I invest in relationships with every individual that will allow me to invest in a relationship with them. And as you know, as a pastor, investing in a relationship is sacrifice, takes time and energy, and that's really been my calling, passion, and purpose in life.
Sure, yeah.
And so, for me, it comes naturally.
Yeah.
But
No,
I guarantee you, if you listen to that, if you're interested in and having communication with your audience and building a community, I have no doubt that if you are willing to do the investment and the sacrifice, you can do that with the Guy Show.
Right, and that's what I was trying to tell them too. Is like, that's the reason I kind of wanted to. That's the reason I wanted to support the PodCamp Ohio stuff that we're going to be going to be at. That's one of the reasons because I was telling Angelo and I was telling you early on the phone. I was just like, I don't know what we can do. We're kind of new at this, but that's also something that we could be able to speak on. Is to say, hey, here's 3 clueless people, and this is what we're kind of doing. We're not ever doing anything perfect, but maybe it'll kind of help draw you some ideas, whatever else. And I was like, let's just do a live show. Well, that could help us as well to be able to do a live show. People could be able to see us and hear us live and things like that. But it also, just like you were saying, it allows us to be able to develop relationships with people. I mean, It's one thing to listen to somebody for a while. It's a whole other thing to be able to see them face to face, get a drink with them, eat lunch with them, sit in a room together and just talk about frustrations or life or podcasting or tech news or geeky things or whatever else. Yeah. And that's so much more effective at being able to. And I think the majority of the listeners that are listening to the podcast right now are just friends.
Yeah.
Primarily that's exactly what's going on, and it's just kind of a word of mouth. And that's just going to take a lot longer to build up.
Well, let me tell you.
Which is not bad, because that's going to be the most effective and the longest lasting people are the ones that.
Here's the situation. what I mentioned in my talk, and I think you'll probably go and listen to it, but
I will.
But here's the situation. I tell people, listen, if you have 10 people and that's your audience, dude, don't ever say to your audience, boy, I wish we had more listeners. I don't know what's going on here. You know what that says?
Yeah.
I'm your listener. What am I, chopped liver?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dude, do you know how much time I give you of my life each week?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, they don't say that. They don't consciously think of that, but subconsciously, you think they're squat.
Yeah, exactly. You are useless to me.
Yeah.
I want to go on to bigger and better things.
It's like, I'm sorry, but you are not worth me. You and the other 40 people that listen to me are not worth my time to record this podcast.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you would be saying to them if you mentioned it on your show.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
definitely.
So, you know what? Take the 10 people, take the 2 people that will respond to you.
Right.
And if they write you an email, if they write you an email, it's like, hey, I've been listening to your show, and here's a thought that I had, blah, 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 blah. And it's just maybe 2 or 3 sentences. Don't hit the reply button and say, oh, well, thanks for contacting us. That's great. We'll read your thing on the show. Dude, do what I do. If you have time, or if you're willing to make the investment, let it sit there for a minute, hit reply. It's like, share a little bit of your life story with them. Write them a good 3, 4, 5 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Invest in that relationship with that person.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you, it's like, whoa, that guy took this much time to communicate with me.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, but he opened the conversation so that this is going to be ongoing.
Exactly.
And you do that in such a way that it's like all of a sudden that you do that with 3 or 4 of your listeners, and I guarantee you that after a while, those 3 or 4 people are going to become friends of yours.
Exactly.
And what do friends talk about? They talk about their friends.
Yeah. And the things their friends are doing and their podcasts. Blah,
That's
blah,
exactly it, man.
Exactly, yeah.
That's exactly it. And so focus on the people you have now, and then you can worry about promoting your show and stuff like that. Which, promoting your show, let me tell you, there's only one marketing method that I think is the most awesome marketing method. And that is
selling yourself for sex?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. It works 9 times out of 10. No.
Not necessarily for you and me, but someone who might be better looking than us. Thank you.
But buying it is not a problem. Except for when finances are no.
So I couldn't resist.
I know. So seriously though, the best way I found of promoting your show is to really build relationship with other people who are like-minded in the area of social networking and new media.
Right.
And not for the not for the purpose of promoting your show.
It's because I want friends.
Exactly.
Everyone needs community. Everybody wants community. Everyone desires
build
it.
community with somebody else's community.
Exactly.
Yeah. And not for the purpose. I tell you what, I had this young guy call into our show, listener line. And he says, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I do this podcast. He didn't even say my name. He didn't even address me.
Right.
He's never called in before, never emailed. My name's so-and-so, and I do this show, and I would really like it. I think your listeners would be a perfect target audience for my show. I think they'd really get a lot. It's like, as soon as he was done, I hit delete on that email.
Yeah, of course.
On the voicemail. That is one thing I would not play on my show. It's
right,
like,
exactly.
Dude, at least say my name.
Yeah.
At least acknowledge that you even know what show you're calling into. For all I know, you sent that voicemail to the 7,000 other people.
That was a form letter. That was junk mail. You just put it.
You know what? Father Roderick. Have you ever listened to him?
I don't think so.
Here you go. You need to listen to Father Roderick. SQPN.com. Look and listen to the Daily Breakfast.
Okay.
That right there, my friend Leo Laporte. You know Leo.
Yeah.
Leo Laporte and Father Roderick are my 2 role models or mentors, if you will. And what's funny is Father Roderick is the same thing about me, which is really weird. But Father Roderick is a mentor to me as far as the method of building community and stuff like that. And I connect with his show. And I'm not Catholic. He's a Catholic priest, but I'm not Catholic. I love his show.
Sure.
Absolutely love it. And he'll say things, and I'll record stuff and send it into his show. Hey, Father Roderick, you were talking about the fact that you just got this iPod Touch, and you were looking to find a way to sync it with your Google Calendar. I don't know if you've heard of Spanning Sync. Let me tell you about my experience with it. This is how much it cost. I tried it out. It didn't work for me, but this is why it didn't work.
Right.
I think for you, if you use it this way, then it would be a perfect solution for you.
Yeah.
You can find it over here. And thanks a lot. And all I did at the beginning is said, hey, Father Roderick, this is Cliff from over at gspn.tv.
Right.
And you know what? I've done that so many times, and I've given him so much valuable information and added so much to the conversation over there that now when I call in, or sometimes he'll be on Ustream, he'll have a couple hundred people watching him on Ustream, and I pop into the chat room and I say, hey, Father Roderick. I say, hey, everybody, Cliff's in the room. Hey, Cliff. Oh, guys, if you haven't seen Cliff's Weekly Lost podcast, he does it because he's a friend.
Exactly, yeah.
That's how you promote. But number one, before you promote, build into your audience and improve your audio quality.
Right.
And for those that are listening to this, if you're looking to improve your audio quality, there are two things that you can do. Number one is you can buy better equipment. And if you go to podcastanswerman.com/packages, you'll see that I have a whole array of pre-designed packages.
At least eight.
There's like 7 packages that are already set up. I mean, you have all the cables and little adapters that you'll forget about and that you'll never know that you need until you don't have them.
And
you're frustrated.
I went there yesterday and saw all of them, and I kind of drilled a little bit.
Yep. And they start as low as I think 200, and they go all the way up to. And I've had some people that have bought the the $1,500 package.
Cool.
So I mean but having good equipment is one thing, and then of course knowing what to do with that equipment, knowing how to do audio production, knowing how to think about these things. I give a lot of free information away here in the Podcast Answer Man, but I'm also doing webinars.
Right.
And so if anybody's interested in a webinar...
That was part of the package of it looked
Yes.
like, yeah.
Yes.
You threw a little webinar in there. And
for some of them. On the lower ends, you get a free webinar. And you just tell me what you want to talk about. I'll schedule it, and we'll have up to 9 other people join us online, and we'll spend 2 or 3 hours together talking about this kind of stuff. You can ask me anything you want.
Very cool.
And it's an awesome experience. And so I'd love to be able to help people to do that. And by doing that, you're helping to support me and my family in the area of podcasting and new media.
Just like I did today by buying your lunch.
Exactly. Thank you so much for my lunch today. So, and of course, you
can buy his lunch too.
And of course, I always want to thank Evan Ag over at ageedesign.com/podcast. Seriously, if you guys are struggling with your graphic arts work for your show, or your website just needs to be refreshed or whatever, just mention the Podcast Answer Man and get 20% off. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here.
Cool.
But thank you everybody for listening. It's been an awesome time. Your podcast again, DG. You have 2 of them.
2 podcasts, yeah. The guyspodcast.com is our website.
It's got the in it.
Theguyspodcast.com, and then the other one is praxispodcast.com.
Spell Praxis for them.
Praxis.
Very cool. .com.
Thanks.